Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, January 7th, 2022, about 8 a.m. on the East Coast of the United States. And this morning, I thought I would try this Colombia Master Blend coffee from Nespresso. It's for the Vertuo machine. It makes 7.77 ounces. So I've got myself a great big mug, and I'll tell you why. Because this 100% Arabica coffee, which is grown in Colombia, is supposed to have an intensity of 5 with winey, fruity, red berry flavors. So I thought, you know what? I'm gonna take some raspberry syrup. This happens to be barrel and bean. I usually prefer the, what kind of syrup do I usually prefer? Okay, come on, my mind is a blank. Jordan Skinny syrups, yes. So this is a barrel and bean, 0 calorie, sugar-free. Let's see. Oh, it says sugar-free. Yep, and 0 calories. Okay, just because something is sugar-free doesn't mean it's 0 calories. Oh, well, anyway, so I've got my milk frother over here, and I've got in it some oat milk and the raspberry syrup. So I'll get it going here, and I hope it's gonna froth up. You know, I've been having some trouble lately with some of my milk not frothing. I don't know if it's the frother or the milk. Anyway, while it's frothing, we'll go ahead and brew this coffee. So this is going to go into my Vertuo. Okay. And I've got the nice big cup here, so that this is a 17-ounce double wall glass mug. I want to have plenty of room for the heated up milk and hopefully froth, which, by the way, is going to be pink. So that ought to be fun, right? All right, so come on, coffee. Okay, and here it goes. Yes, I keep my plastic spoon in my double wall glass mugs when I put them up in my cabinet after they're washed, so I will not grab a metal spoon and possibly break the mug. And I know, you know, those of you who listen to me frequently hear me repeat that over and over, but that's just for people who may not know, or a reminder for those of you who have double wall glass mugs. It is possible to break them with a metal spoon when you're stirring and kind of clanging it around on the inside, because that inside wall of the mug is a much thinner glass than the outside. Why use a double wall glass mug? Well, this layer of air caught in between that insulates so that the heat, or if you have something cold in there, tends to dissipate more slowly. In other words, keeps your coffee hotter for longer. Okay, isn't that pretty? Oh. So here we go. We've got the froth blinking over here. And yay, we've got lovely pink snow this morning. All right, perfect timing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pour this on top. Let me give you a little bird's eye view of this. So now, you know, I made the decision, I made up this recipe that if the coffee is supposed to have a kind of a berry, a red berry note to it, then, well, raspberry's a red berry, right? So why not give it a try? All righty. Let's see here. Okay. I'll just taste the foam just a minute. You know, I'm used to the oat milk having a certain flavor, and adding the raspberry to it's a little bit strange. Oh, strong. Let me give this a try and see. Not every experiment works out. Ah, okay. It's interesting, the foam itself, let's see here. This is really interesting to me. The foamed oat milk with the raspberry syrup, to me, tastes so-so. But when it hits the coffee, my gosh, it tastes much better. One more try. Yeah. Now, you know something I was reading? I was reading that if you use Colombian coffee, there's a recipe called, I think it's Due Bianco or Due Blanco. Anyway, basically if you add warm or hot milk into your cup of Colombian coffee, it's supposed to bring out sort of caramel notes. And I have got, hope I'm not gonna make a disaster here, some Jordan Skinny Syrup salted caramel. Now, I know salted caramel and caramel are not the same, but I'm gonna give this a whirl. Okay, so the coffee already tastes, you know, fruity. Well, I mean, they say it has fruity notes. I don't know. More power to you if you can taste this stuff when you're drinking a cup of coffee. I mean, I can detect sort of woody, smoky, cocoa type of notes versus cereal or fruity notes, but that's about as specific as I maybe could get. So I hope I haven't made a disaster here. Okay, let's give this a try. So this is Master Origin's Colombia coffee, which is all Arabica from the country of Colombia. And I made it on my Nespresso Virtuo. And it has oat milk frothed with 0-calorie raspberry syrup. And now I just put in 0-calorie salted caramel syrup. Give it a try here. You know, that's not bad. Oh, golly, I'm gonna have to buy myself some mini moos. You know, those little things that have half and half in them. For those of you in another country, Americans call half and half, half milk and half cream mixed together. And very often, if you go to a restaurant and they give you a little thing for your coffee that's got white stuff in it, very often it is half and half. Of course, they also make these chemical things they call coffee whiteners that have, like, I don't know, milk solids and high fructose corn syrup and who knows what else in them. But anyway, I'm going to add just a tad more oat milk to this because I feel like with such a big cup of coffee, I feel like it just needs a little bit more creaminess in it. Okay, and now I'm gonna have to microwave it because I think I might have cooled it down too much. Let me see here, I'll give it a taste and we'll see. No, actually, oh, it's just right. Okay, so I think the secret for me to making this raspberry salted caramel coffee concoction is to add enough oat milk that you can taste the creaminess of the milk, sort of that you know there's milk in there. And you can see it's lighter than it was. Of course, the pink makes it look a little bit darker. Makes the foam taste better. That's pretty good. It really is. So I was reading today that, just some facts about coffee, that there are 4 main types of coffee plants. Of course, we know Arabica and Robusta, and there is Excelsa and Liberica, 2 other types, which you actually can buy these coffees. You can look it up online and find where they sell them and order some. They have different flavor characteristics and all. Another interesting fact, sometimes people ask about cold brew. Why would somebody want to have cold brew? Well, the reason is that when coffee is made, you're substituting time for temperature. Instead of using hot water to draw out the stuff that's in the coffee that we love to drink, you're using low temperature, no heat, and time to let those coffee grounds sit in room temperature water, essentially. And it sort of steeps like tea, except you let it sit for like 12 to 24 hours. So what happens is it does not bring out the acidy flavor that coffee can have, which heat tends to bring out. So it's supposed to have a smoother, milder kind of flavor, but while still retaining the taste that we love in coffee. Let's see, what else did I read? Oh my goodness, there's so many interesting facts. Of course, also a proliferation on the internet of all sorts of ridiculous, untrue things too. So, be careful what kind of website you get your information from. I tend to like, excuse me, the Green Pods, which is a website from New Zealand, and homegrounds.co, which, is that from New Zealand or Australia? Golly, I don't know, but it's not from the United States or Europe. And they tend to have really well-researched information, no, weirdo kind of factoids or urban legend type things. Let me think, there was something else I read about coffee. Oh, I read, who knows, I don't know how they figure these things out, that 1/3 of the water used every day for drinking is used for brewing coffee. So that's how a lot of us are getting our hydration from cups of coffee. And one last fact, decaf coffee contains anywhere from 2 to 12 milligrams of caffeine a cup, whereas a regular cup of coffee, about 6 to 8 ounces, can contain anywhere from 150 to 200. This is on average. So, you could overdo it with too many cups of decaf because it does have caffeine. But one last thing, if you're making espresso, usually espresso contains 1/2 to 1/3 of the caffeine that your larger cup of coffee would have. Usually, there are some espressos out there that really pack a punch. So if you're sensitive to caffeine, you may want to do a little research on how much is in that espresso you're drinking. Oh, and this is one really the last thing. Espresso Espresso. A lot of people mispronounce it as espresso. Well, to an American, you say espresso, it almost sounds like express, right? Which is quick. And, you know, whenever I'm making espresso here, it's done in like 10 to 20 seconds at most. So that's pretty quick, you know, so it seems like it's express coffee. But really, the key word to remember in the name and term espresso is press. Because what espresso means is forced or pushed out. And that's what makes espresso different. The water doesn't just kind of drip through or go quickly through the coffee grounds. It's pushed under pressure. All of the good stuff in the coffee is pressed out. Espresso. So remember, the press is the key term in there. And it's not X, it's ES, not EX. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of, you know, facts for you and a kind of crazy recipe here. I'm gonna go sit and drink my coffee. I hope that you have a really wonderful day. And I hope that in this new year, 2022, gosh, it's just amazing to me. Time flies. I hope that you make good, sensible choices and that you appreciate and live in each moment, not in the past, not in the future, but be present to what's happening right now. And don't worry about things that you cannot control.